Cold War test. Directions. Choose the best answer for each question. All test questions are 6 points each. Question 1. After World War II was over, representatives gathered together and formed the United Nations. What was the purpose of the United Nations? A. To punish Germany for starting World War II. To find peaceful solutions to problems between countries. C. To encourage communist governments to spread in countries across the globe. D. To make sure new laws made by the United States after World War II were followed. Question 2. After World War II was over, several countries had communist governments, meaning A. Citizens have no personal freedoms and the government owns and controls businesses. B. Citizens vote for members of the government in an election. C. Leaders value the citizens' needs and wants and make sure they are taken care of. D. Citizens help plan programs and laws to make their country better. Question 3. How were the governments in the Soviet Union and the United States different? A. The Soviet Union had a democratic government and the U.S. had a communist government. B. The Soviet Union had a communist government and the U.S. had a democratic government. C. The Soviet Union thought everyone should be like the United States, while the U.S. did not. D. Many Soviets wanted to take over the United States. Question 4. In order to protect its borders from future invasions, the Soviet Union A. Created an alliance with Germany. B. Asked France and Great Britain for help. C. Took over smaller surrounding countries and making them communist, creating an Iron Curtain. D. Relied on the alliances made during World War II and set up democratic governments there. Question 5. Which became a symbol of the differences between the communism and Western democracies? A. NATO. B. United Nations. C. Cold War. D. Berlin Wall. Question 6. A rivalry began between the United States and the Soviet Union after World War II. This rivalry led to the Cold War. Cold Wars are fought A. With money, words, propaganda, and a constant competition. Repeat. A. With money, words, propaganda, and a constant competition to make better weapons. B. With nuclear weapons and other military supplies creating brutal wars. C. With money borrowed from democratic nations in order to fight communists around the globe. D. With name-calling and many angry protests from both sides. Question 7. What was the North Atlantic Treaty Organization? A. A political alliance that was created to punish the Soviet Union for their role in World War II. B. A military alliance created to protect its members from an attack by the Soviet Union. C. An organization that creates treaties for countries that have been at war with each other. D. A form of government that rules democratically. Question 8. The Cold War focused on preventing which type of government from spreading to other countries? A. Republic. B. Democracy. C. Elected government. D. Communist. Question 9. The Korean War occurred when A. The Soviets invaded North Korea. B. North Korea attacked United Nations troops sent to protect China. C. South Korea invaded North Korea. D. North Korea tried to make all of Korea a communist nation. Question 10. The result of the Korean War was that A stalemate occurred and North Korea stayed communist and South Korea stayed democratic. B. North Korea defeated South Korea and created a communist government there. C. South Korea surrendered. D. South Korea invaded China. Question 11. What was the effect of the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union? A. The United States successfully launched the first satellite into space. B. The Soviet Union and the United States worked together to put men on the moon. C. The Soviet Union launched Sputnik and other satellites and put a man on the moon. D. The Soviet Union launched Sputnik, but the U.S. was the first to put a man on the moon. Question 12. Why were the missiles involved in the Cuban Missile Crisis a threat to America? A. The missiles could have led to the U.S. attacking Cuba. B. Cuba is an island only 90 miles from Florida, so the missiles could reach targets in the U.S. C. Once missiles were placed there, Cuban citizens began feeling terrified of the U.S. D. The Soviets were blocking American cargo ships headed towards Cuba. Question 13. Why did the United States become involved in the Vietnam War? A. The United States was trying to prevent the spread of communism in South Vietnam. B. The United States was trying to prevent the spread of communism in North Vietnam. C. The Soviet Union wanted to keep nuclear missiles aimed at the U.S. in North Vietnam. D. China helped North Vietnam spread communism to other countries in the area. Question 14. What was the result of the Vietnam War? A. Both sides ceased fire, American troops left, and Vietnam became one communist nation. B. A stalemate was reached and neither side won or lost. C. Many Americans supported the war effort and praised American support in the war. D. North Vietnam and South Vietnam worked out their differences and became democratic. Question 15. Announcements were made that hundreds of communists were working with the U.S. government and planning to take over in America. This fearful era in the U.S. was known as the A. Cold War, B. Cuban Missile Crisis, C. Red Scare, D. Arms Race.